Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Music artist MD's night is laid to rest.
The Anatole Rogers High School family mourns the loss of 3 lives.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquim. Top in news tonight, the Bahamas Communication and Public Officers Union is calling for the resignation of Garfield Sinclair after a meeting held to discuss voluntary separation packages reportedly went downhill. Dozens of BTC employees led by BCPAU President Dino Roll protested during their lunch hour today and called for Sinclair and Liberty Latin America CEO Balaner to go.
We've had enough of Mr. Sinclair, and Mr. Sinclair time is up.
Bahamas Communication and Public Officers Union President Dino Roll calling for BTC CEO Garfield Sinclair to step down after he said a meeting this morning to discuss voluntary separation packages didn't go as planned.
He indicated to us that he's not interested in any more conversations with us because he is going to go ahead with his VSEP exercise and send Bahamian homes anyhow. I call on the Prime Minister today that Mr. Garfield Sinclair time is up and Mr. Sinclair's status, whatever that is, ought to be revoked.
He said some 100 employees are at risk of losing their jobs. Earlier this week, Sinclair denied what he called rumors that the company was seeking to involuntarily separate from any of its employees. Roll joined dozens of BTC employees and retirees on the steps of the company's JFK headquarters during their lunch hour in silent protest.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
We just received a letter. I received one earlier making it clear that consultation time is past. They're going to unilaterally make their decisions, which we know is definitely against the union agreement, and we're going to challenge that. But the wording, the way it was written, can smell the blood coming from the letter. And I believe there's anger and frustration on their end, but we're going to stand up for our people.
The BTC unions are also calling for the resignation of Liberty Latin America CEO Balaner after a video went viral of him talking about the underperformance of BTC and joking about a meeting he had with the Prime Minister. He has since apologized.
We too ask that Balaner resign because we are not interested in continuing a relationship with one Balaner.
Denise Wilson, a former 30-year employee of BTC who retired just over a decade ago, says she is very concerned about what's going on at the company.
I am concerned as a retiree that we get pensions from this company. What are these rubbish companies going to do with our pensions? You know, it's easy for them to look at it and say, oh, this pension fund has some money in it. And the next thing we know, they're skimming off the top. And all of a sudden, I can't take care of my 4 grandchildren. I have a problem with that. My pension is of the greatest concern to me.
Well, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis asserted last night that the government does not intend to grant work permits for positions in BTC that can be occupied by Bahamians.
Once a position in BTC can be held and performed by a Bahamian, there will be no foreign entity allowed nor given work permit to perform a job over a Bahamian.
Minnis was responding to Eglinton MP Glenys Hannah Martin, who complained that government officials do not seem concerned about the plight of BTC workers following controversial comments made by Liberty Latin America CEO Balaner. Minnis said his administration will ensure the jobs of Bahamians are secure. However, he noted they will be guided by the contractual agreement made with BTC's parent company.
We would only be bound if the contract agreement allows it. But outside the contract agreement, no work permit will be given to any foreigner to replace any member of BTC.
In other news, Bahamian entertainer MD's was laid to rest today following a somber service at Abundant Life Church. Jillian Gray reports.
Members of the music community joined family and friends to celebrate the life and legacy of Devon MD's night.
Tell me what do you get when you're giving your all and seems like you can't make it through. The ocean's rising, fires roll.
Knight is best known for his unique reggae-style music. Songs like Love Is, Friend Salute, and Love Doctor established Knight as a remarkable reggae artist. Family and friends shared fond memories of the entertainer's music and childhood.
Listening to great tracks, searching for new sounds, thinking of new ways to burst through the industry, writing with the purpose of longevity. That was an MD's week.
Over the last few months, Davon kept close to home. He recorded, worked out, and spent most of his time there. He was always at peace in seclusion. Davon loved the life he had because it was a life that he dreamt of. He will forever be missed. His voice will forever be heard until we meet again.
Knight was stabbed to death in June, shortly before he was set to go on tour. His career has landed him on stages both at home and abroad. Tributes poured in from fellow entertainers.
MDs, I'm going to miss you, bro. You were truly a friend.
As a musician, he was so incredibly talented, and everyone knows him for all the amazing work and music that he's done.
When you are wrong, me, good company. MDs are wrong, me, good company. When you are wrong, me, good company.
Pastor Cranston Knowles encouraged the family to lean on God in this difficult hour and draw inspiration from Knight's life.
Davon has already lived his life. His journey is done. And his impact will live on. But there are a few things that last forever. Your soul will last forever, and the Word of God.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian. Well, following the recent deaths of 3 teenage boys who attended Anatole Rogers High School, the school held a memorial service today in their honor. Giorgio Bain reports.
It was an emotional day here at the Anatole Rogers High School as friends, family members, and faculty members remembered 3 young men whose lives were lost in a matter of months.
On July 2nd, July 14th, and July 16th, faculty and staff at Anatole Rogers High School mourned the tragic deaths of 3 male students. Leo Dorsley, who was killed by a hit-and-run driver, Cornell Edwards Jr. allegedly committed suicide, and Dustin Ranger allegedly drowned while swimming with friends in Hatchet Bay, Eleuthera. Today, their teachers and classmates came together to pay tribute to them. Principal Harcourt McCoy said the time has come to cover the students of the school with prayer as the last few weeks have shaken their school spirit.
The students that lost their lives, each one of them was very important to us. Leo Dorsley of grade 9H1, Cornell Edwards of 10R1, and most recently Dustin Ranger, a graduate of the 2018 class. He was in 12H1. I knew all of these students intimately and intermingled with them daily. All of their teachers, all of the persons who came into contact with them share in the burden of what has happened.
The students' friends became emotional at times, walking outside to compose themselves. Ricardo Prosper, who had a friendship with all 3 of the teens, shared fond memories of their time together.
Dustin, he was my track buddy. We always used to compete against each other. And CJ, he was my basketball buddy, and we always helping each other out, giving thoughts, just helping each other back. And Leo, we used to just clown around, every time I saw it was not, he was there, just make me laugh and stuff. And then if I know all 3 of them gone, right, it's
Prosper became especially emotional when he reflected on the death of his friend Cornell, who allegedly committed suicide. Prosper said he had no idea that his friend was going through so much.
Me and him was talking about everything, but I didn't know he's going through that. I feel sorry for myself. I couldn't save my boy.
Meanwhile, Dustin's best friend, Altrez Benny, is struggling to cope with his drowning death. He remembered how Dustin helped to make his recent birthday celebration a memorable experience.
Dustin, he had my back for everything, and I loved him. And he still can't believe he gone. I have the proof that he gone. And he's just a good person. And he had more ahead of him. I don't know why he had to go.
Leona Dorsley, who is just a few months older than her little brother Leo, said she will miss her brother, who was her protector.
He was outgoing, he was fun, he was overprotective brother.
Fellow schoolmate Tabitha Saunders said when the new school year begins, it won't be the same.
Just to know that each one of them isn't coming back, it kind of leaves a scar on Anatole Rogers, because you might not know each and every one of them, but their presence in the school, it just made Anatole who it is. Each and every student, a part of this institution, makes Anatole who it is. But just for pieces, individuals just to be taken away so short notice at young ages, it just makes you think and makes you appreciate life even more.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgio Bain.
Police are investigating a murder in Abaco. According to police reports, officers responded to reports of gunshots being fired in the area of the mud around 1 p.m. today. When they arrived on the scene, they met a 25-year-old man lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds. EMS personnel took him to the Marsh Hopper Clinic, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Police say they are following significant leads in this matter. Well, Minister of Tourism Dionisio de Aguilar admitted in the House of Assembly last night that the Minister administration was overzealous in its attempt to implement a controversial sliding scale tax. De Aguilar says the ensuing drama was a teachable moment that government is now ready to move on from. Jasmine Brown reports.
Yes, we might have caused a shock to the system by going too hard, too fast, right out of the gate.
As he wrapped up debate on the Gaming Amendment Bill 2019 in the House of Assembly last night, De Aguilar admitted that the government's initial sliding scale tax was probably overly ambitious. However, he insisted their hearts were in the right place.
We are trying to really level it, at least trying to move in the direction where less go to 7 and more go to the 400,000 citizens of the Bahamas. I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
Last May, the government announced a sliding scale tax on gaming house revenues and a 5% stamp tax on deposits. However, web shop operators labeled the taxes discriminatory, unfair, and wrong, and claimed the increase in taxes would cause them to lose business, lay off employees, and shut down locations. Legal action from gaming operators forced the government to come up with an alternative tax structure.
As far as I'm aware, we're done with this for a while, and I don't think it would be fair for you to draw the conclusion that because we've tiered it, it somehow means that we're going to tax it in the future. It may happen, but I don't think that between here and the and the next major political event, that's probably going to happen. But I don't know. That's something that's determined by the Minister of Finance, and depending on what the financial state of affairs in the country is.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Still to come, a breast cancer survivor shares her story. Stay tuned.